Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Sensation Nation. As you can see, it's just me today, but that's all you need. I'm here to talk to you about a subject that I think a lot of folks have trouble with, and it is the ability to say no. I've been talking to some friends, some family. I've actually been trying to figure out how to do this best myself. Sometimes it's just very difficult to say no. So I'm going to help you today and give you 10 ways to say no. First, I'm going to start with the different languages, 10 different languages in which you can say no. We'll start with Spanish. And if you talk about a direct no, most of them pretty much are pronounced the same way. So in Spanish, to say no, it's no. In French, it's non. German, nein. Italian, no. Japanese, iye. Portuguese, niao. Hindi, nahin. Korean, Anyo, Swahili, Hapana, Chinese, Bushi. I just gave you 10 different ways to say no in different languages, but that's not what I'm really trying to share with you today. I'm just trying to help you figure out how you can actually say no without making people feel like their feelings are hurt, without you feeling guilty about certain things. So I do have a few talking points that I have that will revolve around the value of just saying no. And I hope that this will help inspire you to just make empowered decisions and choices in your life. So let's just talk about a few points here real quick. First, number one, the power of boundaries. Setting boundaries is crucial for personal well-being and productivity. Saying no can help protect your time, your mental health, your energy. There's a lot of misconceptions out there that saying yes to everything means you're being productive. But when you're talking about the power of boundaries, you have to set up little fences around yourself to be able to just tell people, hey, I can't do that right now. So sometimes you're just going to have to just set some boundaries and say no for your own mental health and your own well-being. Number two, there's some psychology behind why saying yes too often can be a problem. Some of the psychological reasons people find it difficult to say no is because they have a fear of rejection. They're always trying to please people. They have that people-pleasing tendency, or they just may feel some guilt if they say no to someone or if they don't say yes to something. Some of us grow up certain ways where if someone tells you to do something, you just do it. You don't question it. You just do it. You don't ask why. You just do it. You just say yes. So some of that could be driven by how we were raised. Our childhood and societal conditioning may have just put us in a position where we just aren't able to say no very well. I was asked to see if I had any interest in a job at one point in time. And someone said, hey, you want to do job X? And I was just like, no, I don't think so. And I was proud of myself because I was able to do that, because in the past I would be like, yes to everything, because I felt like if I say no to it, then I'm going to have a problem with my career path or so on and so forth, which I'll talk about here in a minute. You have to be able to distinguish between something that's good for you and something that's not good for you. But with that particular situation, someone came back to me and said, is that a no or a hell no? And I'll just tell you, my body's not necessarily built per se to say hell no. So I kept it at a no. And at that point, it wasn't in my hands anymore. So just know that there's some psychology behind why saying yes too often can be a bad thing. Number three, learning to say no without guilt. You have to learn how to decline requests gracefully. Sometimes you're like, nah, bro, I ain't doing that. Depending upon if it's a professional or personal environment, you have to figure out how to gracefully say no without hurting someone's feelings or without actually shooting down or blocking any doors for some future opportunities that may come about. So learn how to decline those requests gracefully. Saying no to things that don't align with your values or priorities is really an act of self-care. Because if we just keep swallowing and say, yes, I'll do it. Yes, okay, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. And we go home and we're just feeling bad about ourselves. We did some people pleasing, but at the end of the day, we just actually ate that, right? And it made us feel bad about ourselves. And then next time something comes up, they're going to be like, oh, we'll just give it to him or her. He'll do it or she'll do it. So just making sure that you understand that saying no can be a part of self-care as well. If you have to go this far, maybe you can do some kind of role playing scripts in your head or whatnot and figure out ways to say no without having to be put on the spot and caught on your heels. Like, hey, I really appreciate the offer, but I have to prioritize some other commitments right now. That's kind of a smooth and graceful way to be able to say no. So just figure out what works best for you. There's a ripple effect to saying no as well. Saying no can open up space for better opportunities or more meaningful engagements. If you're saying no to something, you give yourself some time back, maybe to focus on some things that you actually want to do. Saying no can be a form of leadership, setting an example for others to maintain healthy boundaries. If someone's watching you and they go, wow, he or she is not just a yes man or a yes woman, they're able to say no and they know what they want. And I can actually follow suit with that. So just understand that ripple effect. Someone's always watching you. Someone's always paying attention to you. Number 5, the difference between obligation and opportunity. I kind of hinted to this earlier. Distinguish between feeling obligated to say yes versus recognizing a genuine opportunity. Discuss how every yes is essentially a no to something else, like your time, your health. If you just say, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do that. Well, when are you going to have time to do the things that you want to do? The more that you keep pouring in your cup or pouring from your cup, the less you have to drink. As people say, you can't pour from an empty cup. So just keep in mind that there's a difference between an obligation to say yes and an opportunity to say yes. If someone comes to you and say, hey, I need you to do this, and you just feel like, hey, this isn't really aligned with my goals, my aspirations, but I'm going to say yes because if I don't, X, Y, and Z is going to happen. Well, keep in mind that that may not necessarily be an obligation for you. It may be an opportunity, but sometimes when you turn opportunities down, you make room for other opportunities as well. So just keep that in mind. Number 6, going to along the same lines, reclaiming your time and energy. Saying no plays a critical role in helping with your time management. There's only 24 hours in a day. You cannot do it all. People are sometimes looking at me and they go, how did you have time to do that? Well, sometimes I tell them I didn't have time. I made time, right? Being able to say no to certain things that were being tossed my way opened up an opportunity for me to, write my book, sitting behind me, It Takes Heart. And in that book, you're going to see a section in there where I say, never let anyone tell you no. Now, that's probably contradictory to what I'm talking about right now. And I'm telling you, hey, learn how to say no. Tell people no. But at the same time, I'm telling you, don't take no for an answer. Be persistent. Those two things will have to balance themselves out, and you have to figure out what works for you. It is definitely an art and not a science. Saying no allows for deeper focus on high priority tasks and personal passions as well. So just keeping in mind that you can reclaim your time, reclaim your energy. Just make sure that you actually balance out what you need to say yes to, what you need to say no to. Now, when you do say no, there's going to be some aftermath to that. You have to figure out how to handle that aftermath when you say no. You're going to have to deal with the discomfort or the awkwardness that can follow with a no. Learn how to handle other people's reactions, including who may not necessarily respect the fact that you said no. And they go, no, all the things I've done for you and you're going to tell me no? I'm always there for you. And, then, okay, well, I'll do it. You got to be careful of that because you know that if you say no to something for the first time that you're used to saying yes to, it's not, or it may not be received very well. So just plan for that. And you'll have to learn different techniques for sticking to your decision without feeling pressured to reconsider or to ultimately change your no to a yes. Number 8, empowering others through your no. Saying no can empower others to take responsibility for their own tasks or their own growth. How turning down opportunities can create space for others may be more aligned or more directly tied to your passion. So when you say no to someone, you say, nah, you know what? I'm not going to let you borrow $20 this time. Well, that may not necessarily be received very well. Well, you're enabling people sometimes, and I just use money as an example. You may be enabling someone to continue to do the same things they're doing if you just continue to provide a safety net for them. So sometimes saying no will empower them to figure out how to go out there and get it themselves. And they may come back to you one day and go, I am so glad you told me no on that because I had to get out there and figure it out on my own. Number 9, the role of no in personal growth. Being selective about your commitments can lead to personal development, introspection, and self discovery. The concept of strategic no's, keyword there being strategic, that allow for greater growth in areas that may matter most to you. There is an importance of practicing the art of saying no to stay true to your own vision. So again, number 9 there, the role of no in personal growth. When you learn to say no, you kind of build yourself a callus to the point where you can be more selective on what you actually say yes to. That takes practice, but you have to start somewhere. Number 10, saying no in different contexts. Tailoring the message of no can depend on whether it's professional, it's personal, or it's in a social setting. There's differences in saying no at work than it is to say no to our family and friends or in romantic relationships. It depends. If my friends are asking me to do something, I may be able to say, hey, nah, bruh, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? But I can't necessarily say that in the workplace. If my boss comes and say, hey, I need you to go do X, Y, and Z, I can't be like, hey, nah, bruh, I'm not doing that. That just doesn't work in that environment. So if you have a family member asking you to do something, or a coworker or a boss or supervisor, your friends, just understand that saying no in one context, in one environment, may not necessarily be the same way that you will say no in another environment. So just keep those things in mind. Understand that saying no can be helpful to you. It can be a benefit to you. It can help your personal growth. It can help you just be a better person, help you to prevent enabling someone as well. So before I wrap this up on how to say no in the 10 different ways, 10 different languages, I also want to offer 10 different ways to say no in various contexts. Just as I mentioned before, the way you say no in one environment may not necessarily work in another environment. Some environments you may have to be very polite, very subtle. So 10 of them. Number 1, the simple no. Just no. Hey, can you go do such and such and such? No. This one's very straightforward and it's clear. It's in an unambiguous way to decline, and it's best used when no further explanation is needed. It's like, hey, you want to go over here and do X, Y, and Z? And you may go right out of the gate that this doesn't align with my values. So you just may go, no. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Number 2, the polite no. No, thank you. This is a courteous way to say no, often used when declining offers, invitations, or favors. That's just a polite way to say you're not doing it, but you're doing it in a subtle way. Number 3, the apologetic no. I'm sorry, but I can't. Adding an apology softens the refusal, especially when you want to avoid hurting someone's feelings. So again, more of the soft, subtle way of doing it, but in an apologetic way. Number 4, the prior commitment no. I appreciate the offer, but I already have plans. This is a graceful way to decline, showing that you're not rejecting the person, but you're simply regretting the commitment itself, and you have commitments elsewhere. Number 5, the delegating no. I can't do it, but maybe someone else can help. Or even you give a name. I can't do it, but maybe Jim can help or Jane can help. This offers a solution while maintaining your boundaries, making it useful in professional or team settings. Number 6, the not now no. For example, I can't right now, but maybe later. This works when you don't want to say an outright decline of the invitation, but you say I can't commit at the moment, and you kind of leave room for a future possibility of committing, right? It's like, not now. It's kind of like, maybe come back later. It's like when your kids go, hey, can I have some ice cream? Not right now. So you're telling them no, but you're leaving it for an opportunity to say yes in the future. Number 7, the deflecting no. Let me think about it and get back to you. This is a more diplomatic way to decline that gives you time to decide and often softens the blow of a direct refusal. So sometimes maybe face to face, you don't want to say no, but just let me think about it. And maybe later you can go off and go do what you got to do, and maybe send an email or send a text and say, hey, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that after all. Number 8, the conditional no. I can't do that, but I can do blah. So earlier I talked about I can't help you, but so-and-so can. Now you're saying I can't do what you asked me to do, but I can do blah, right? If someone says, hey, can you give me a ride to the store later on? It's like, hey, I can't do that right now. But what I can do is I can offer you Uber Eats, or I can get you an Uber to the store, so on and so forth. So instead of an outright refusal, you're offering an alternative that works for you, showing your willingness while protecting your time. That protecting your time keeps coming back over and over again. Number 9, the empowering no. I trust you to handle this without me. This is a positive way to say no, often used in leadership or collaborative settings to empower others to take action. So it's like, hey, can you help me set up for this event? You know what? I trust that you can do that without me. So I am empowering you to do it. I'm telling you, I'm not going to be able to help you, but I'm telling you, I have all the confidence in the world that you can do it by yourself or with other means. And last but not least, the time management no. I'm focusing on priority blah right now, so I can't take this on. Again, if I would have said yes to some of the things that were being asked to me when I decided, hey, I want to write this book or when I want to get this podcast going, I wouldn't have been able to make time to do some of the things that I set out to do. So this is a respectful way to decline while making it clear that you're prioritizing other commitments. Like, hey, man, I really can't do that right now. I'm really kind of focusing on my book. You know, there's been some times where I've missed out on some social events, some social opportunities. And I said to myself, hopefully there will be other social opportunities in the future. But right now I've got to get task X, Y, and Z done. Listen, I hope this has been helpful for you all. I just want to help you all be able to say no, be okay with saying no sometimes, not feeling guilty with saying no, empowering others when you say no. Sometimes it's okay to say no. Now, again, some of you are probably out there going, well, what happened to the never let anyone tell you no? Well, again, it is an art, not a science. And then maybe that's another topic for another episode. So will I be back? Yes. I'm not going to say no on that one. Until next time on Sensation Nation, I'm out.